Many of you who know me know that I am a big fan of country music, and for a long time I've been a fan of the singer Alan Jackson. His simple, smooth, authentically country sound has always been very pleasant to my ears. One of my favorite songs that he sings is called "Here in the Real World." And in that song, Jackson croons, "Cowboys don't cry and heroes don't die. Good always wins again and again, and love is a sweet dream that always comes true. Oh, if life were like the movies, I'd never be blue." But here in the real world, it's not that easy at all, because when hearts get broken, it's real tears that fall. And darling, it's sad but true. But the one thing I've learned from you is how the boy don't always get the girl here in the real world. Oh, I love these Tears in Your Beer songs. I told Justin Avdek, who played for our Wednesday concert in North Muskegon this past Wednesday, and who seems to like to sing sad songs, that we as a culture probably suffer because we don't have enough sad songs. I know that's true in the church, by the way. We need more lament songs that help us feel more and get us more in touch with human pain. But all of that's very tangential. I don't really want to talk about that today. For today's purposes, I'm more intrigued with Jackson's talk of the real world. In the real world, he's saying, there aren't always happy endings. And in the real world, he thinks that real world is worth paying attention to. But what is the real world? I believe that is the question that is being asked and responded to in the book of Hebrews. The people who received this book lived in the real world. These Christians who had a Jewish history and a Jewish bent were more than likely folks who were being publicly ridiculed and imprisoned. They probably had some of their property confiscated. They weren't living the life where cowboys don't cry and heroes don't die. They were facing very difficult situations, and some of them, as a result, were choosing not to meet with other Jewish Christians because such public gatherings would get them into trouble. And some of them also were abandoning the faith altogether. And the goal of the book of Hebrews was to get these folks to hang in there, not throw in the towel, to live by faith. Now, in today's reading, the author of Hebrews begins his words of encouragement by talking about the general nature of faith. In what are relatively famous words, the author says, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. For faith, life isn't always about what you can see or touch. For faith, life isn't always about the facts on the ground. Now, let's be honest. Here in the real world, you don't always get to see the good. Here in the real world, when you look around, life doesn't always seem to be penetrated by the life-giving presence of God. Sometimes the visual evidence in our life suggests that evil reigns, that the good don't prosper, that hate is stronger than love. For the author of Hebrews, though, we need to look beyond what we can see. We understand, the author of Hebrews says, that space, all the stuff that is, and time were created and are created by something that cannot be fully grasped or measured. There is something remarkably mysterious, numinous, the theologians like to call it, about being itself. You try to grasp the mystery. You try to hold on to it. You try to figure it out, but you can't. But nonetheless, you know that it's real. But good luck in trying to prove its realness. Presbyterian thinker Frederick Buechner says almost nothing that makes any difference can be proved. I cannot prove that life is better than death or love better than hate. I cannot prove the greatness of the great or the beauty of the beautiful. Faith can't prove a thing, or a blessed thing either. Well, that's really good. In the real world, almost nothing that makes a real difference can be proved. An insight that makes me a little nervous about the trends in education, business, and the church that depend upon the conviction that everything needs to be measured. Test everything. Test everybody. Look only at the bottom line, and you'll figure out what you need to know. Now, I'm not naive. I'm too old to be naive. Tests can be helpful instruments. Profit reports are necessary for any business. Churches need to pay attention to budget and membership numbers. But don't take those standards of measurement. Don't think that those standards of measurement will take care of life. What is most real cannot, most of the time, be captured by numbers. Sometimes what is most real is invisible to the eye. The call, then, is to live by faith. And Hebrews would want to suggest that contrary to what we might expect and what others might tell us, the world of faith is indeed the real world. So often we are led to believe that faith is not the real world. It's some kind of fantasy world for the folks who don't really pay attention to the facts on the ground. For some, faith is an escape from the real world. Karl Marx described religion as the opiate of the people, something that dulled them, caused them not to deal with and respond to the real concerns of the real world. And I think he was right, by the way, but I would suggest to you that's bad religion. And yes, there's plenty of bad religion. It shows up in religion that does poor intellectual work that denies the reality of science and its insights. This kind of religion can cause people to flee the real world, to go to some never land where you're called to believe things that are absolutely preposterous. The world is not 6,000 years old. Dinosaurs did not exist on the ark with Noah. Vaccines are not the work of the devil. Faith is not an invitation into intellectual dullness. But faith, nonetheless, is still our calling. The author of Hebrews speaks of our forefathers and foremothers in the faith as people who confessed that they were strangers and foreigners on the earth. They were the folks who were seeking a homeland, a better country, a heavenly one. These forefathers and foremothers were seeking what I'm calling today the real world. And by that, I am not indicating that the real world is the place you go when you die. Although, frankly, it might be the completion of the real world. And as an aside, it intrigues to me that the book of Revelation speaks of the end not as a matter of no earth, but rather a new earth. The earth is completed. The earth becomes what it was meant to be from the beginning. And this is what people of faith are seeking for and longing for in the midst of the real world. In the midst of this real world that is shaped by human choice and human evil, people of faith are yearning for another world, another real world, the realest world of all. Hebrews would have us know the real world of God. And you got to admit something, the real world of God looks different than the real world that you and I live in. It doesn't operate in the same way that the world that we see does. The real world of God is a better country. The world of faith trusts something that isn't always verified by the so-called facts, something that isn't always visible, but something nonetheless that will take us to a better place. The world of facts may suggest that revenge and war are the only way. But the world of faith says that there's a better land, there's a better way. The world of facts may suggest that you should just play it safe, that you should never risk, that you should put up a big sign on your lawn and on your heart that says, "Keep out." For after all, you never know how much people will take advantage of you or how much they will mess up your yard. The world of faith will take the risk, will open up to self, will put up a sign that says, "Welcome all." The world of faith will not see money as something that simply needs to be hoarded, that you need to keep to yourself in order to protect yourself. No, the world of faith will see money and possessions as realities that can be shared, especially with those who have little. The world of faith will see those who have little, those folks on the bottom or on the fringe, not as losers, but as ones who can reveal the very heart of God, a suffering God. You see, here in the real world, shared suffering, compassion, love, grace, forgiveness, and generosity run the show. I can't help but be taken in by the words that Jesus speaks in our gospel lesson for today about the kingdom, about what I'm calling the real world. Jesus says today, "Do not be afraid, for it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." God gives the kingdom. God gives the real world. In fact, Luke is telling us, He likes giving it. God is a God of generosity, and what He gives is His way of being in the world, the way of love and compassion and service. You probably missed a small detail in Jesus' parable today, in what is probably a story about Jesus returning to the earth. He says, "Blessed are those slaves," us, "whom the master finds alert when he comes. Truly I tell you, he will fasten his belt and have them sit down to eat, and he will serve them." What? The master is serving the slaves? As my friend Mary Hinkle says, the master says, "I feel like cooking today. Is anybody hungry?" And the next thing you know, the master is beating eggs and rummaging around for the waffle iron. "You sit still," he says. "This morning, I'm going to serve you." This is the way it is in the real world. God is generous. God serves. And if you don't believe that, look at the life of Jesus. Look at His death. Our God is giving and forgiving. Our God is gracious. This is the deepest truth of life. This is the realest real world. Now, live in that world. Trust that world. Walk by faith. Amen.